Okay, now go to second. Yeah, go up. So last class we have discussed about how to get the connection by using URL, username and password by using of the driver manager dot get connection or with the Oracle also with the different approaches we have seen with get connection with the three parameters or with single parameter like that we have verified three approaches last class. Okay, now today we are going to discuss getting the only connection we have tried last class guys. So today we are going to start how to execute the queries, how to execute the queries that we are going to discuss it. Okay, so let me start it. Okay, let me create proposal. So if you want to get any connection, if you want to connect with the database, let's say this is of my database. If I want to connect with the database, if I want to connect with the database from my Java application, so what all things that is required means first the database vendor jar file is required. Okay, so that is compulsory. Without that jar file, we can't connect. Okay, if you are trying to connect also, it will give the it will give error. Okay, see we are attached to this OJDBC 8.jar file in the project. So without this jar file, it will give error. We'll see that also. Okay, soon. Now let's go back. So let's create one application for connecting with the database. So before that, you should have the Oracle software in your system, and then with the credentials that you have to store somewhere. Okay. Now let's create one project class. Okay. This is the first class I'm writing, guys. Okay. Now create a connection. Create connection test. Okay. Let's write up this. So what all things that is required for getting connection means first we need of driver manager class, right? We need of driver manager class. Let's write off so class dot for name, there is a class called class dot for name. Okay, inside this there is a we need to pass the class. To which class we want to connect to Oracle database. So Oracle people will provide some driver classes. Okay, Oracle people, if you want to connect with Oracle driver. If you want to connect with MySQL driver. If you want to connect to Sybase driver. So those driver classes compulsory we need to load before going to connect to the respective databases. Okay, now let's create a need of the class name Oracle dot JDBC dot driver dot Oracle driver. I think Oracle driver Oracle driver. So what I'm doing, so I have written this. I want to load at the time of executing this program. I want to load this class file. So where exactly this class file is available? This class file is available in the vendor jar file. So if the before going to execute this one compulsory we need to right click on the project, go to properties. Okay, and go to Java build path, go to library section. We need to add a new jar file. We need to add this jar file into our project. Let's say without this we'll see that. Okay, without that we'll see. Now after that it will throw some exception if the class is not available in the runtime. It will throw off class not found exception. For that, what we will do? We will write off try catch block. Okay, we'll write try catch block. Okay, let's say write off some message system.out dot and tell in some message unable to load driver class. Okay, just some message unable to load of driver class. Now after this, we will need to we need to get the connection, right? Now next, right of like what we need to, for getting of the connection, we need of URL, username and password is required, correct or not? Create driver manager dot driver manager dot get connection. So we need to select the there are multiple overloaded methods is available. Whichever is suitable for our requirement, you can select any one. So I'm passing of three parameters. Okay, select of this one. The first one is URL. So URL means for Oracle, there is one type of URL. For MySQL, one type of URL. That already I have explained in the last class, right? So see, for the Oracle, the URL format is like this: JDBC colon Oracle colon thin at localhost and port and with database name. Okay, with this the URL format is for Oracle. If it is a MySQL means it is of different. So based on the database which we are connecting, we need to format that URL and then we need to give in the code. Okay, let's get that URL from any existing one. Okay, URL and copy paste from other. Okay, this is of URL. Next, username. So at the time of Oracle database installation, so the default user is system. Okay, default user is system, and password you must have set while installing the software, Oracle software. Okay, I have given my password as ORCL. Okay, this is of getting connection. Let's see whether it will give connection or not. Okay, it will give one object as a con object. So Alt Shift L, if you are shortcut, if you want to try, you can use that. Just give as con object. Okay, connection. Now, even this is also giving up some exception. What exception? If I am unable to connect to the database, okay, the credentials which you have given in the URL, username, and password, if anything is wrong, so that I may throw an exception, SQL exception. Okay, that is not handled here. So even this is of a checked exception. Compulsory, we need to handle the checked exception by using either throws clause or by using try and catch. Okay, now add of this one with the throws class or anything is fine. Okay, now next, if you want to create whether the connection is created or not, in this line itself it will say that. Okay, now let's try to run it. The next line, write off one statement, SYSO. So if the last statement is executed means connection success. Okay, now if any error is coming, here it will come out of that. Now let's try to run it. It will say unable to load class. Unable to load the class. It is throwing some error, right? So compulsory we need of the driver class. We need of the driver class which we want to connect to the database. For that compulsory we need to go to the project, go to properties. Okay, it is there. So if it is not there, here it is already available. If it is not there, so you need to go to add external jars. Go here and go to your system wherever it is available. Select that path. Okay, select the path wherever that jar file you are stored, and then click on open. Then it will be come here. Okay, after that only it will what happen. How's that? For name is available, right? Oracle dot JDBC dot Oracle driver. Let me check the Oracle any class name is correct or not. Our class name. It is, yes, it is of there is some difference in Oracle. Sorry, yeah, A is missed here, right? Now let's see. Yeah, see, now connection is success without giving any exception. Without giving any exception, it is giving connection success. So, if you want to, after connection is succeeded, if you want to get up some creating of tables, some inserting of data into the database and then updating and then deleting, all those things, if you want to perform it, okay, without going to database, I want to create my table, okay. Let's say already some table is there, okay. Now let's see, some data is there, so I want to drop this table, drop table emp, okay. Now let's see, table is dropped and then commit it. Now let's see, it will give off a tabular view does not exist. Now we don't have table emp. Now I want to create one table with employee table emp with employee id with name, salary and with some designation. I want to create some table in the database from my Java code. Okay, not in the database directly. Okay, now go to our application. Complete here. Let me create one class. This is the class, existing class I have created. So first what I am doing, I have created one static block. Why do I need a static block? Means at the time of class loading itself, the static block will execute. Okay, so that means at the time of class starting itself, this class will load. Okay, so whenever you want connection, then through whenever you are executing of main method, okay, running this program, that time it will start connecting to the database. But before that, it will load that class. Okay, now what I am doing, so I created of one connection null object statement. Why do we need statement? Connection object is for getting the connection. Through connection we can execute of, we can create some statement and then we can execute that. Okay, there are, I told you, statement, prepared statement, callable statement. Statement and prepared statement is for executing the queries, and callable statement is for executing the procedures from the Java code. Okay, again, what is the difference between statement and prepared statement? So statement means it is a fixed queries. Okay, statement means if you want to execute of any fixed queries, then we can go for a statement. Okay, if you want, there is no change, no dynamic query. Okay, in that case we can go for a statement. Okay, to create statement object, we can use create statement method of connection object. Okay, so once we get the connection, once we get the connection, so now here, one second, once we get the connection in this line, from this object I can create a statement object by calling of create statement. Okay, we can use create statement method of connection object obtained in the above step, means in this step. Okay, now, after that, create the query. So, normally, if you are creating this, if you are executing this query in the database, if you are executing this query in the database, the table will create. Okay. Now, let's see. See, table is created. Table is created. Now, let's see. The table is created, but there is no data, right? Table employee name, employee number, employee name, designation with salary, four columns. With four columns, I have created one table. Okay, that by using of this statement. Now, I want to execute this statement from the Java code. Okay, I want to create this table from Java code. Then in this case, let me drop it here and now let's see. Now we are getting of tabular view does not exist. Now let's execute this statement, this line from Java code. So created one variable with string SQL. I have created that query. Okay, which I want to create for table in the database. I want to execute this SQL by using this statement. By using this statement. Now we can execute of execute dot sorry statement dot execute update statement dot execute update or execute query. So it will create the table in the database. If everything correct, if the query is correct, then it will create one table in the database. Now let's run it. So after that, what it is going to return? If it is going to return of some integer value, if it is successfully created, it will return 0. If not, sorry, if successfully created means it will create as 0, else it will as it will not give any value. Okay, it will throw error if anything is there. Now let's run it. Table is created. Table is created. Now go to the database and then check it. Table is created. I have not created from Oracle guys. I have not created from SQL developer. I have created table from our Java. Okay. Now I want to insert. This is a for creating table. Once table is created, then you need to close all the resources which we opened for connection. Statement is opened and connection is opened. These must be closed. Okay. So in JDBC, automatically the connection will not be closed. So we need to close the connection. It is the developer responsibility to close the connections. Okay. Next, this is a for insert for creating the table. Let's say for example, if you want to insert some data into the database, how exactly we can execute this query? See guys, either execute query or execute update or execute. So there are three methods is available to execute the queries. I will explain what is the difference also soon. Okay. Now next, execute. I think this part already have executed. Sorry, how discussed. Yeah. Difference between statement, prepared statement, and callable statement. So JDBC API provides three different interfaces to execute the different types of SQL queries. Okay. They are statement. It is used for executing normal queries. So that means that there is no parameters that we can pass. There is no parameters that we can pass to that one. Okay. It is not a dynamic query. It is a static query. Static means fixed query. Okay. In that case, we can use of statement method, statement interface. Let's say if you want to execute some dynamic queries or parameterized queries, then in that case we can go for a prepared statement. You can go for a prepared statement. This is the one. Next, if you want to execute of callable statement means if you want to execute procedures in the database, then we will use of callable statement. We can't call procedures by using prepared statement. Compulsory we need to use of callable statements only. Callable statement only. Now let's see this example. We have seen count dot create statement and say statement dot execute update. This is what we have done. Okay, it is going to whatever that we are passing as a parameter here, that is the query guys. Statement to execute the table. Okay, this is for statement. Now go for a prepared statement. Okay, prepared statement also I'll give examples guys through how to insert the data, how to update the data, all those things we'll see that. Prepare statement is used to execute dynamic or parameterized SQLs. Dynamic or parameterized SQL queries. Prepare statement extend is the prepare statement is the child interface of statement interface. Okay, you can pass parameters to SQL query at runtime using this interface. So but in case of statement, we can't pass that values at runtime dynamically. Okay, that is not possible. So it is recommended to use prepared statement if you are executing a particular SQL query multiple times. Okay, let's say you are executing a phone query for getting some data from database with by passing different values. Let's say employees data is available in the database. Based on employee ID, I want to get the data. Okay, let's say for example, let's insert one. We'll see that example also guys. If you want to, let's say 100 records is available. Based on the employee ID, I want to get the data. Then in that case, select star from employee, where employee ID equal to 10 means 10th employee ID number will come, will get the details, right? If you are passing employee ID as 20, then 20 employee ID details will get it. But every query, all query is same, only the value is changing. Okay. So in that case, if you want to pass the values only change and the query is same, then in that case, instead of going for statement, the prepared statement is the best choice to execute dynamic SQL queries. Okay. Now this also will see there are multiple examples I have given that also. Okay. Now callable statement. Callable statement, if you want to execute of procedure. Okay. For the procedure, we need to pass in parameters as well as out parameters. Means in parameter means we are passing values to the procedure. Out parameter means the procedure will give the data back to the caller. Okay. Even that also we'll see. Let's start off this example. Just now we have seen creating a table, right? Create employee table, employee number, employee name, designation with salary. Okay. This is just a created table. Okay. Now let's say if I want to insert some data. So how we can insert? Insert into EMP values of 100 employee name, assume Ashok, developer, just to developer, salary is just assume some 1,000 rupees. Close it. So normally this is the query to insert the data, right? This is the query to insert the data. See, one row is inserted, right? One, clear it. One row is inserted. Now we'll select this one. First commit it. One record is inserted. Now I want to insert the record from our code. I want to insert record from our Java application. Now let's delete of this one. Okay. TRU truncate table name. Okay. Now let's delete it. Okay. Data is deleted. Okay. Now no data. I want to insert the data from application. Okay. Now for that, what exactly you need to write? This is common for loading of a driver class and getting of a connection up to here. Getting of connection up to here and creating statement up to here is common code. Okay. Now the change is only here it will come. Now the change is here it will come. Now let's open another program for explain that insert table. See here, in this case also static block is same. This is also same. Only the change is the query whichever you want to execute. The query whichever you want to execute in the database, that we need to write in one SQL string SQL one variable. Okay, this is of query I want to execute. Okay, and execute statement dot execute update. Statement dot execute update. So in this case, if it is executing, then how many number of records is executed? How many number of records is impacted or inserted or updated or modified? That count it will return back this one. Okay. If that is not equal to 0, 0 means no records is modified or inserted or updated. Okay. If more than 0 or okay, this value is greater than 0 means yes, there are some records that are updated in the database. That count it will be returned back, the count. Okay. Now let's see. Actually before what we did, this query that we are executed in the database, instead of executing from here, I want to execute from here. Everything is same, only this SQL query part will change. Okay. Now let's run it. Guys, we don't have any data in the database. See here, there is no data in the table. Now I'm executing of this statement, or let's say take this statement only. Okay, control X and update, save it. Now Run this. I am passing this SQL query to the statement dot execute update of this value I am passing here. Okay. Now let's run it. See, row is created. Now go to the database. So whether it is inserted or not, the confirmation. Now select this query. 100 Ashok developer 1000 is inserted. Now let's see insert of one more record. 200. So zoom off Prasad and lead. Now zoom of 2000. Just assume. Okay. Now I want to insert of one more record. Just run this program again. Row is created, right? Always we are modifying this query, right? To insert of without modifying code, I want to give dynamically data. Okay, that also we'll see. Okay, for wait. Now execute this one. One more record is also Prasad record is also created. Okay. Now let's say, for example, I want to update by mistake I have given some name is wrong or something, some lead development role is designation or salary is wrong. If you want to update of that column, then we can update that also. So what is the change? Only this part will change. The rest of the code is common. Rest of the code is common. Now let's go for a update part. Okay. If you want to go for update, yeah. Now here what we are doing, let's say update employee. This is update query, guys. This is of only this part will change. Rest of everything is same. Okay. The query will change. Which you want to execute, that we are executing from Java. That's it. So the query for updating of any column, update emp table, set emp name of just assume Ashok instead of Ashok. Ashok is Ashok Kumar. Just assume that. So what is the employee? Where employee ID is where employee ID is 100. Where employee ID is 100. Change the employee ID 100 name. Okay. The query is update table set column name its new value where employee ID equal to 100. Then it will update the name of that employee name 100 to Ashok Kumar. If you are executing this one, let's save it. Right now it is of Ashok, right? Now it will change it to Ashok Kumar. Row is updated. That means there are some records that are updated. It is not equal to 0 means. Okay. Now let's execute it. Okay. It is done. Right. Ashok Kumar is came. Right. Now next, if you want to delete of the record, if you want to delete of the record, then we can delete that also, right? Now let's see. Let's say I have two records is there. Okay. Let's say add up one more record with the 300 assume of that Venkat. Okay. This is also some 3000 just assume. Okay. Now let's run it. Row is created and now search for three records is available. Let's say I want to delete off one record. The record 300 I want to delete. Employee ID 300. So for that what we can do? We have to write the delete query. Delete from table where employee ID equal to 300 is the query, right? So that I have that the query is compulsory. You should remember, guys. Okay, already I have explained that. Delete query. Now inside this I have created one query delete from employee table where employee number equal to 999 means not 999, change it to 300. Okay, where employee ID equal to 300 employee ID details I want to delete it. Okay, let's now run it. Rest of the code is same, guys, only the query is changing. Save it. Row is deleted. That means there are some rows were deleted. Now let's execute this. Only 2 rows is there. Let's try for that. So if I am trying to run again, if I am trying to run again, what will there is no already record is deleted, right? So see, the record is not because already record is deleted. So that means this method is written 0. Okay, that time this if instead of if block, else block is executed. Okay. Now these are the for by using statement. By using statement, that means the query is fixed. In the query, I'm not passing values as dynamically. This is fixed query, right? This is 300 I'm passing. So I want to pass dynamically the value. I want to pass dynamically the value. Let's execute this one once again. Now one more record is added, 3 records, right? Now I want to pass that values dynamically to select the data, to update the data, or to insert the data, to delete the data. Okay, then by using prepared statement, we can achieve that. By using prepared statement, we can achieve of how to pass the values dynamically to the query. Okay, now let's come down. These all things is by using statement, guys. No change. Yeah. Now, what is the difference between there are multiple queries to execute there are multiple methods to execute the SQL statement. There are multiple statement. We are user of execute update, right? We can use of execute query or execute update. Okay. Now all these three statements, all these three methods will be used to execute of SQL statements only. See, SQL execute query, update, execute or the methods of statement interface. Okay, statement interface. So of JDBC API which are used to execute of SQL statement. Okay, any if you want to execute of any queries, we need to use of one of the method. We need to use one of the method. So when do we need to go for execute query? When do we need to go for execute query means now let's say you are trying to retrieve, if you want to, you are not inserting or modifying, updating. So you want to fetch the data from database, you want to retrieve the data from database. Then in that case, we need to use execute query method. We need to use of execute query method. Okay. Now let's say you are trying to update or modify or delete or creating something, some tables or whatever that is. Then in that case, we will use of execute update. We will use of execute update. Till now we used of execute update, right? Till now we used of execute update method for executing of, for inserting, for updating, for deleting. Okay, or for creating also we used of execute update. Okay, in that case we can go for this. So if you don't know which method you want to execute, okay, if you don't know which method, either execute query or execute update method, or which method you don't know which one you need to use, you are in confusion, then in that case you can use of execute method directly. Okay, if you don't know, if you are in confusion. Okay, that is what see, this method can be used for all types of SQL statement. If you don't know which method is used for your SQL statement, we are writing of update or insert or select or whatever that is there. In that case, we can use, if you don't know that method which one you want to use, then execute is the preferred method to execute of any type of SQL query. Okay. Next, what is the method? Yeah, next is a prepared statement. And now, so till now, the queries are fixed one. Okay, static queries that were executed from Java application. I want to execute of dynamic queries. I want to execute dynamically. Dynamic queries means I want the values should be dynamic. The values for the query will be dynamic. I want to pass it. Okay. Now let's see. In case of normal statement, whenever we are executing SQL query, every time compilation, compilation and execution will happen at the database side. So if the query is fixed one, if you are using of statement means every time that query will be compiled and then it will execute. Every time it will compile and execute. If you are using as a prepared statement means the compilation will be done only first time. Next time onwards only execution will happen. Only the values is changing. Okay. Now let's say for example, sometimes in our application we are required to execute same query multiple times with same or different input values. Let's say for example of IRCTC application. So I am searching for let's say I want to search from Hyderabad to Bangalore. I want to search some what are the trains. Some people will train from Bangalore to Pune. Some people from Bangalore to Chennai. So the data only the source and destination values only changing, the remaining everything is same, right? Then in that case the query is dynamic, only the values are query is same, values are dynamic. So in that case instead of fixing for your time one you need to create one query, for myself you need to create, instead of that only I'm making the values is dynamic. In that case we can go for prepared statement queries. Okay, now let's see with example. In this case, query is same, but the source and destination places are made different. This query is required to execute lakhs of times per day, right? Many people will be searching for that, right? If you are using a statement, then in that case, you will get off some performance issues. Every time it has to compile and execute, right? Instead of that, we can go for a prepared statement. It will improve the performance of the application. Okay. Now let's take on examples. Okay, let's take off some examples. So till now we are hardcore, we are user of common code, right? This is there for every class. This is a common code. So instead of that I'm doing some refactoring. I'm refactoring the code. Instead of making this code as duplicate, instead of making this code as a duplicate, separately I have written one class that is called database connection with you can create of anything. Okay, let's where is that database yeah, this one, database connection. So for connecting database, what all things required? Driver class, URL, username, password. For doing of any operation, the connection is mandatory. So that connection part I'm using in some separate class. I've taken up 4 variables. Okay, URL, username, password, and driver class. So here I have created one method. What is the method? Get connection method. Okay, inside this class dot for name and connecting with the database, both I am doing in separate class. Okay, wherever that is required, db connection data get connection method I will call, it will return the connection. Okay, instead of writing of all these things multiple times. Now let's using prepared statement I want to insert the data. Okay, I don't want to change my code, I don't want to modify my code. So in case of statement every time, in case of statement every time we are inside we are modifying this query data, right? Every time we are modifying this data to insert of new record, right? But by using prepared statement I will not touch the code. I'll run the program and I will give the values whichever I want dynamically. That data will insert into the database. Now let's see that. See what I'm doing now. A statement here. What I am doing. Let's remove of these things. Okay. Now remove of only keep off. Remove these things. Directly we can use of db connection. db connection data get connection, db connection dot get connection method you can call it. Okay, continue it. Say I'm using a created one connection from this one. Let's remove this. Yeah, so it will give off one connection by verifying of the details. Okay, second, yeah, that remove this. Now, now what I am doing, I want to insert, I want to execute of this query. I want to, this is a prepared statement query, guys. Insert into employee values. How many columns is there in the database? So employee number, employee name, designation, and salary. So for each and every column we need to give us some question mark. We'll call it as a positional parameters. We'll call it as a, for first question mark we'll call it as a first positional parameter, it is of employee number. Second question mark we'll call it as a employee name. Third question mark is designation. Fourth question mark we need to pass salary. Okay, that we can pass dynamically. Okay, this of SQL we need to call of con dot, instead of create statement we need to call prepared statement of that query we need to pass. So for this it will be written of prepared statement object. Okay, now for this prepared statement object, for the first question mark, all these question marks we need to pass the values. Okay, that if it is a integer means set it method first index. First question mark is the employee number, second question mark is the employee name, third question mark is designation, fourth question mark is salary. So if it is a salary means double, designation means string, all these things we need to accordingly we need to pass, otherwise it will give error. Okay, integer means if it is employee number means it is integer in the database, right? Now if you want DESC of EMP, okay, the employee number is of number, so that means set int, the first question mark. Next is second one is employee name, it is of string. Okay, it is a varchar means it is a string. Designation is also varchar, that is also set string, right? The fourth one is salary, it is of number, so it is of double, right? 7 comma 2 is there, then in this case we need to set as set double. Okay, now dynamically by using scanner I am taking that values each time. If I want to continue, then I am checking one condition. If yes is entered, then I want to continue one more record. If no is entered, then come out of that loop. Now let's see. It is asking enter the employee number. Okay. Or else if you want, let's enter employee number, enter employee name, enter designation value, enter salary. Okay. Now run it. See, enter employee number. Just assume of that 999. Okay. Enter name. Enter name is just assume Rajesh. Enter designation is developer. Okay. Enter salary is some 5,000. See, it what it is giving after entering, entering salary, click on enter. Record is inserted successfully. See, record, it is executed that statement and record is inserted successfully. Do you want to insert one more record? That's what it is asking. Do you want to insert one more record? If you are entering yes, okay, then it will ask one more employee number, right? Let's say 888. Enter name is Raju. Enter designation is lead. Salary is 6,000. Right? Even second record is also inserted. Do you want to insert one more record? I didn't modify any of my code, guys. Okay? Whatever the values I'm entering, it is inserting. We'll see that also soon. I don't want to have inserted two records. Now I don't want to insert one more record. Just enter no and press enter. It is exited. See, it is exited. It is not asking any other things details. Now go to database. We have inserted two records, right? See, 999 and 888. These data that we have entered from the command line dynamically, correct or not? 999 and 888. Rajesh developer 5,000. 999 Rajesh developer 5,000, right? Next 888 Raju lead 6,000. 888 Raju lead 6,000. the data is inserted without touching my code. I didn't modify anything in the code for inserting values, new values. But in case of statement, we need to always modify the statement, right? This is for insertion. Okay, let's say if you want to update, if you want to update it again. Now in that case, what we need to do here, we will update that, we'll write the query. For that we need to pass the values dynamically. Okay, for that we need to pass the values dynamically. Now let's see if any prepared statement read, let's say, and now let me write off one more, control C and control V, prepared statement update, table data, prepared statement update, where is that? Yeah. Now since inside that what I'm doing, let's say assume of that I want to update the data. I want to update of, let's say, for all these for all this data, for anyone. Okay, instead of wherever the lead is there, okay, I'll just modify to lead developer. Just assume that wherever lead is there, I want to update lead to lead developer. Okay, for all the for all of them. Okay, now let's, for that what we need to do is update. Okay, update emp set. What we need to do, designation column set designation equal to designation equal to question mark. Okay, and question mark where designation is designation equal to lead, where designation is lead. So for this two question mark is there in my query, right? For these two I need to pass two values. I need to pass two values, correct or not? Now let's enter designation, enter new designation. Okay, and next is enter designation where you want to modify it. Now let's two is enough, no need of this. First one is int only one, comma this of not int string new designation. Okay, old designation. Pass this as a new designation, comma 2 and old designation. Remove this and update that. Record updated successfully. Okay, now yeah, now what I'm doing now, let's run it. First it will ask of some designation. Now let's run it. Enter new designation. Instead of lead, I want to enter of lead developer. Lead developer, old designation. Sorry. Enter. This is one. Period. Stop it. Run as designation lead developer. What was happened? 1 second, guys. Let me. Hmm. Even before developer, also to change it to lead developer. Lead. What was happened? 1 second. Let's 1 second. 1 second, guys. Let me set string of first one, next one. Both are having same designation columns, right? Or else let's where emp id. Next int int next int integer emp number set int int. Accordingly, we need to pass the values, guys. If it is an integer means set int method we need to call it. Okay. Now enter emp number emp the column name emp number. Now let's run it. Designation is save. The number is 100. The number is 100. Now let's go and check it. Yeah, it is changed. Now if I want to continue it, but this is the how every time it will ask, guys, no worry. Again, what I want to do, I want to give off, I am giving off one more. Is to give off lead developer, lead developer to employee 200. Okay, employee number 200. I want to give that one. Close the connection, maybe. Yes. Sorry, guys. The connection is closed. Now add this. Now let's run it. Lead developer 200. Got updated successfully. Now go and check it. Lead dev for 2. So for 900, so I want to make it to manager. Okay. Now enter yes. Enter designation is manager to employee number 999. See. Now let's it change it to manager. I didn't do any modification. So if I want to do still continue, then yes. Enter new designation to whom you want. So director to whom you want to give. Just assume of that employee ID 888 I want to give as 888, make it to director. Okay. Now let's run it again. Change it to director. Right. If you don't want to continue, then enter no. Still it is in red mode, guys. Red is there means still the program is running. The meaning of that, it is not at terminated. Now after entering no, enter, it will go that. See, it is terminated. Okay. I didn't modify anything here. Only the values dynamically I am passing in the command prompt from the console. Okay. Now this is for prepared statement. So from by using prepared statement, if I want to read the data, if I want to read the data, then dynamically for employee ID 111 is 300 200, specifically if you want to get the data, then we can use of prepared statement, read, there is a execute query, it will return of result set. Okay, that we'll see here. I want to select start from employee where employee ID equal to this employee ID value I will give dynamically. Employee ID value I will give dynamically, whichever employee ID I am giving that data I want. Okay. Now let's say execute of uh, say that enter the employee number 999. Enter the employee number 999. Yeah, see, it is giving of 99. Rajesh, designation manager, salary is 5,000. Okay, but I didn't iterated again. I didn't iterated only one time. If you want to iterate, then you need to add off this logic while loop, and then this part we need to add it for continuing that by using scanner class. Okay, the query only modification, guys. The only the query modification. So whichever you want is a static query or dynamic values that you are passing. Based on that, you need to decide whether you need to choose for the statement or prepared statement. Okay. Next, this is of reading the data. One more thing, guys. So here what we are doing, so whenever you are executing of execute query for reading the data, it will return of result set. Okay, it will return a result set, all the result whatever that is contained, it contains the result. So from this result set object we need to iterate the data. So if rs dot next means if the data is available, it will return of true value, boolean value. Okay, if it is available, then it will come to the while loop, and then so what is the columns? First column is integer type, get int. If it is a second column is by using column name we can get the data, or by using index also we can get the data. Okay, index means compulsory we need to follow of the types. First column is of int type, so get int of 1. Second column is string, get string of 2. Third column is string, get string of 3. Fourth column is salary, so get double of 4. So accordingly we need to call that. If you are calling get double second time, it is not possible, it will not give, it will give error, because second column is of type is string, compulsory we need to use that only. Okay. Next, um, next one is mm, let's, this is a for reading the data. Next, go to the document. Next, callable statement. Next is callable statements. Now we are writing of we are writing multiple times this query, right? So if I want to execute of all the employees data by using of procedure, if I want to get the data, okay, by using procedure, if I want to get the data, then in that case callable statement is compulsory required. So procedure is not like table, guys. So the tables is available in the table section. Under table, the procedure is a, it is a program. Okay, it is a some set of statement. See, create or replace procedure name. Starting from this one, select employee name, employee number, employee name, designation, salary from employee. This query will execute inside the procedure. Inside the procedure, it will execute and it will return the data that we need to iterate it. Now let's see that by using of callable statement. So up to getting the connection is common, no change. So the way of calling for the prepared statement or procedure is instead of con dot prepared statement. In this case, what we are doing, con dot prepared statement of query we are giving. We are giving query and we are executing of prepared statement of execute query, right? By passing the values. Now in this case, the callable statement call is different. Con dot prepare call. Con dot prepare call of open this open bracket call. This is syntax, guys. Call, this is the name of the procedure which is available in the database. Okay, and this is the parameter. So it is of output parameter compulsory, either input parameter or output compulsory. We need to pass the question mark for those values. Input parameters or output parameter means okay. Input means we need to pass. Output means we need to register. We need to register that from this procedure we will get the data, right? Whatever that is there. So that we need to get, and then we need to iterate it. Okay, compulsory to get the output parameters which is coming from the procedure. We have to do register it. Okay, now let's say what I am doing here. It is going to return off cursor. It is going to return cursor. It contains the data. Okay, now that data we have to register output parameter. There is no register for input parameter guys, only for output parameters which is written by the procedure we need to register it. Okay, now register that whatever the type that is there, that we need to register it. Okay, Oracle types data cursor. Next to execute that, just to execute it, that's it. Okay, it will return off it will return off the output as a result set object. It will return the output as a result set object, so that we can get from get object of only one parameter is their output parameter. Okay, prepare statement of get object of only one, that it will return of result set object. Okay, this for the callable statement guys, only for the procedures. In case of others, directly the execute query will return the result set object. Okay, we no need to call again the get object method, all those things. In case of procedures, compulsory we need to get that output parameters through by calling these methods. Okay, that object, this is anyhow, this is a known thing. Results object we are iterating by using of next method and then getting that values, get int string of 2, all those things. Okay, employee name, employee salary, designation, all those things. Okay, the part is only the changes these two guys. Calling of that prepare call of that callable sorry, procedure call. Okay, procedure name, and then whichever that is going to return by the procedure compulsory we need to register it. Okay, let's say if I want to insert the data to by using, if I want to insert the data by using procedure, this is a for getting. Okay, then instead for inserting of the any data we need to pass employee id, employee name, designation, salary, right? And I'm expecting something from the procedure, as whether it is inserted or not. Okay, some value, that also we'll see one example. Now let's run this, whether it is going to return all the data from the database or not. So it is return all the data from database. Okay, now next prepare statement insert. Okay, the insert part, this is the procedure that I already have written in the database. Okay, now let's open up this one. Create or replace procedure with the procedure name. I'm taking up in means input parameter that we need to pass. Out means this procedure will return the result back to the caller wherever you are calling. That output parameters compulsory we need to register in the our program. Okay, that's what we have done. Again we will do in this example also. So all these input parameters that we are passing inside the query insert statement, that instead of calling this directly this insert statement from the our database, have written the statement inside the procedure. I am calling procedure. Okay, this procedure internally it will execute of this insert statement by passing the values which we are passing in the dynamically. Now let's go and check it. See here, call insert employee, employee name, sorry, employee number, name, salary, sorry, designation, salary, and this is of output parameter whether the record is inserted or not. The last question mark is okay. That we need to register it. See, this is of employee number, name, designation, salary I have taken, enter dynamically. Now all I have passed to this one. Okay, prepare statement dot values all I am passing. And the fifth parameter is of type I am expecting of something from the query execution. If it is executed successfully, the result I am expecting of either true or false. Either true or false I am expecting. Okay. Now let's after that is of fifth parameter is a result, either true or false it will return that. Now let's run it. We need to pass off values, enter the employee number 678, employee name is just assume Leela. Next designation is manager. Okay, enter. Salary is 20,000, just assume. Okay, enter it. Record inserted successfully. After see, record inserted successfully after it is giving of true, right? See, it is giving after entering that displaying as true. That means from where it is coming, from procedure it is returned back. Okay, again it is asking. The query is different, guys, not insert query. I am calling of procedure. Through procedure I am inserting the data. Okay, by passing the values dynamically. If you want to insert one more, you can. Now let's enter yes. Employee number is just assume 898. Okay, employee name just assume of Vijay. Okay, designation lead. Okay, salary 3,000. Done. Record inserted again. It is true is returned. Okay. Now if you want to insert again, then we need to enter that. I don't want. No. It is terminated. Now go and check in the database whether the two records is inserted or not. New records. Now it is of Leela and Vijay is inserted from through procedure. Through procedure we are inserted this data. Okay. That's what callable statement, guys. Okay. Now this is what get employees. All the whatever the programs that I am executing here, guys. Okay. All this is available here. Those only I am executing. Okay. That is the reason I have given this document before to verify of that. Okay, for understanding, and videos also have shared. Next one is result set metadata. Okay, we are getting some data from the database. Let's say I'm getting this data from the database. If I want to know of the about this table, whatever the data that I'm getting, what is the name of the column? What is the type of the column? For each column, what is the table information if I want to know that? What is the name of the column, type of the column? Those information if you want to know that, there is a class called result set metadata. Okay, whatever the result is giving by that query, whatever the result is giving the let's assume select star from employee. This is going to give off what type of data? Employee number, name, designation, salary is giving. I want to know each column name and what its type. Okay, metadata means it is a data about data. Data about data. So result set whatever the data is written by this query, I want to know of that what is the column name and column type. If you want to know that, then in that case we can use of result set metadata class. Result set metadata class. Now let's see one example. Along with the data, I want to read some what is the type of column, what is the name of the column which is there in the database. Result set metadata. Now this is also Control Shift. Now Control Z. Let's remove this for time being. Now what it is giving? It is going to give select star from employee. It is giving up the employee's data, right or not? Now let's run it. It is returning of all the employees data, employee number, employee name, designation and salary is giving. I want to know of what is the column name it is associated in the database for the employee number, employee name, designation and salary columns and their data types. Then in this case, along with this, Okay, along with this, from this result set object we can get the data. Control, let's see, result set dot get metadata. So get metadata will object will return a method will return a result set metadata object. Result set metadata object. So it contains of what is the column count, column name, column type, all those things will be coming here. So the number of columns available in the database for this table is rs object rs result set metadata object dot get column count. Let's see get co also get column display name, column type, column name. So multiple types column label, many things is there. Okay, no, get column count I am searching. How many columns is available, number of columns, column details, column details, if you want to know that, column details if you want to know, then let's see, just iterate it. If it is a 4 is there means 4 times we will iterate rs dot get column name of first column name. Okay, column type, get column type name, I am passing first one and its type, second one and its type, third one and its type, like that. How many number of columns it is there, that many number of times it will iterate that. Now let's see the number of columns in the database for that column is 4. Okay, column details, employee number is of type number, employee name is of type varchar 2, designation is of type varchar 2, salary is of type number. How to know that? See, if you want, see this, describe of employee, employee number, number, employee name varchar 2, designation varchar 2, salary number. That information we are getting from our Java class by using of result set metadata. Okay, that's what about the result set metadata, guys. Okay, if you want, even this information also same, the query, whatever the para, this metadata means data about data. We can get the further information from the data which is written by the query. Result set metadata is an interface in java.sql package of JDBC API, which is used to get metadata about our result set object. It is returning some data. If you want to, only data is there. If you want to know about the table information, what is the column name, what is the type of the column, all those things, then we can use of result set metadata. Okay, and every result object is associated with one result set metadata object. This object will have all the meta information about the result set object like schema name, table name, number of columns, column name, data type of the column. So all those things we can get by using of get metadata object method. Okay, that's what we have seen through practical. See here. Okay, this is about the result set. Let's say if I want to know of database metadata. Okay, so what is the database that we are using, what is the username that we are using, what is the version of that product that we are using. Let Java version is 1 8 we are using, like Oracle version, which version we are using, what is the name of that, all those things we want to get at that. Okay, then in that case we have a class called database metadata. We have a class called database metadata. Database metadata interface provides the methods to get metadata of database. Let's say if you are using of Oracle related information, if you are using of MySQL information, that information we can get by using a database metadata class. Database metadata interface. They have given some methods to get up the required information. What is the driver class name that we are using, what is the driver version that we are using, what is the username we are using, what is the database product name, Oracle or like that, what is the product version what that we are using. All this information we can get by using this database metadata object. By using this database metadata object we can get it. Now, once after getting the connection, after getting of connection, we don't need to search for any query, guys. Here in this case, after getting the connection, we can directly get this metadata of database related one. Now, let's see. No query is required. After getting the connection, after getting the connection itself, we are calling of con dot before result set dot get metadata. That is giving data about result set. Okay. Now this is going to give about con dot metadata connection we are getting by using some details. What is those details? Username, username and driver class name, version, product name. All those things we can get by using connection of get metadata. Now let's go to the program. Same program is available. Now let's go to program. Any program. What is that? Database metadata. Yeah, see that what I did. So I just to get the connection. Okay, just I'm getting the connection from here from this class, and then from here database metadata. So con dot get metadata. Okay, so it is going to give information about the connection which we got. Okay, in from this connection, what is the driver class name that we are using, what is the version that we are using, what is the username that we are using in our database for connecting, what is the product that we are using, which database that we are using, what is the product version that we are using, all those information it will return that. Now let's run it. There are some specific methods they have given, guys. See here. First one, driver class name. Which driver class? Oracle JDBC driver we are using. Oracle JDBC driver that we are using. The version of that one is 19.3.0.0.0. That is the version of driver class. Next, what is the username that I am using? System username I am using. What is the database that I am using? Oracle database. What is the product version I am using? Oracle database 19C enterprise edition release. This is the current version that I am using. So if you want to know of database information about which we are using, then by using of this database metadata interface, we can get that information. Okay, this is what about database related. Database metadata information. Now, let's say for example, till now we are discussing all this. Each statement we are executing one time, right? Right. Only one SQL query we are using at a time. So instead of that, I want to execute 10 statements in one shot. I want to execute 10 statements. I want to execute in one database hit. Okay. If I want to execute till now, for each SQL query, it will go to the database, it will execute, and then it will return. Instead of that, if I want to execute of 10 queries at a time, 10 queries at a time, then in that case we have a provision called batch statement. Okay, batch execution is there. That we'll see that statement batch. There is a statement batch is there. By using that, we can execute of multiple statements in one shot. Okay, all the statements we need to add to the statement. Okay, there is a methods add batch that URL and execute batch. These two methods are required to add off all the statements to that batch, and then for executing that batch, execute batch method. Till now we are using execute query, execute update, or execute for executing of single statement. But for executing of batch, execute batch method is separate is there. Okay, now what exactly the add batch of string method will do. So add the given SQL command to the current list of commands for this statement object. Okay, now let's go to the example and then we'll see back here. Batch statement. So what I'm doing, up to connection is fine. Okay, up to connection is fine, and creating statement. I have created statement. Next, what I'm doing, this is of auto commit, guys. Auto commit automatically. If you want to commit that, then is of this one. Okay. Now I created a four insert statement. I have created. Let's see here, four insert queries I have written, but all four I am executing. All four I am adding to the statement interface. All I am adding to the statement. So the execution will happen. It will not execute each one time, guys. So all I have added to the statement, and then statement dot execute batch. All these four record will execute in one shot. okay, and it will return of array. So each query it will execute and it will add that each query will execute and return add that output into this array, okay. Four times you are executing means each query execution time it will return of whether the how many records is inserted or updated or deleted, the count it will return, right. That values it will store inside this array, okay. From this array we can pick, let's print it. See, it is printing of four ones. The first statement is executed and it is returning of one. And second statement is also executed and return of two. Third statement is executed and return of one. That is also inserted into array. Like that, all the statements, whatever that we are executing, the result will be stored inside an array, int array. Okay. In this case, multiple statement we can execute by using a statement batch. Okay, the provision is there. This is what JDBC guys. So already you people gone through my videos means it is easily you can understood guys. If you are understood, if you are saying now means so it is you need to grasp fastly. Okay, that's what JDBC guys. Any questions means I'll repeat guys. You can ask me now. That is the reason only before I have given all my videos, JDBC videos and Serlet videos guys to go through of that. I don't know whether you people gone through those videos or not. Guys, any queries? No queries? Okay. Now, uh, I want to start off servlets. I want to start off now. From this time onwards, like from this time onwards, it is not like simple programs, guys. It is a different. Every time it is a different project. Till now, everything, all programs I am writing in a single project, right? All core Java programs. Now, if you want to do any web application, means for each one we will write separate project. We need to create, guys. That we need to start now. Okay. Now let's before before I'm moving to servlets, any doubt guys, that will use sometimes this code guys, but mostly in the real time will not use JDBC, will use of mostly Spring Data JPU only will use it. Okay, but you people should have some idea on the JDBC. Okay, is it clear guys? Before moving to servlets, no response. Okay, let me, guys, are you hearing or not guys? Okay, now let's go to servlets. Okay, servlets means let me open the servlet document. Where is the servlet document? Self SQL developer, SQL training, October batch, advanced documents. Yes, servlets. Now, till now, by using even JDBC also will be used for core Java applications as well as for developing web applications for both. Will use this one. Okay. Now, servlets. Now go to some examples. Till now, we have two types of applications is there guys. One is a desktop based application and web based applications. Okay, by using core Java I said we can develop of window based applications or desktop based applications, right? Desktop means it is only run in the single system. Okay, if I'm developing in my system, it will run only in my system, it will not run in other system. You people can't access it. Now we are moving to servlets for developing web applications. To develop of any web application, Okay, for developing of any web application, compulsory we need to go for some advanced technologies. With the core Java we can't develop it. First, before that, what is web application? What is web application? Web application we call it as like any application that can be accessible through internet. Through internet, if any application is able to access, okay, always 24 by 7, 365 days, then we can say that is a web application. Like whatever that application that we are using, right? Facebook, Google, Facebook, Instagram, all those things will call it as a web applications, right? Right or not? Even Gmail is also one of web application, right or not? So it is giving up for creating a application for that. So it is giving up some, it is taking some user input, and then it is performing action based on whatever we are entering. If you are giving something simply, it will not accept, right? It is giving error. So that means it is interacting with somewhere in the database and then it is giving result, right? So in this case, we'll call it as a web application. Anyone can access this Gmail, right? Right? So to develop of any web application, we need of some servlets. Okay, by using, so not servlets, by using servlets, we can develop it. The initially, around in the olden days of 1990s, like that, or 1995 like that, servlets are used for developing the web applications. Okay, what exactly it is? Now let's see that. Close it. Yeah. Now, applications, there are two types of applications. They are window-based applications or desktop-based application and web applications. Window-based application means the applications which run only in the single system where you have developed. Those are desktop-based applications or window-based application. Web-based application means what is web app? A application is called web application if it can be accessed using internet and it is available 24 by 7, 365 days, then we'll call it as a web application. Most of the commercial applications are web applications. Okay. Now, what is the architecture of web applications? For developing of any web applications, for developing of any web applications, we need two things, guys. Client is required, server is required. Client is required and server. What is exactly client? We'll call it as a browser. We'll call a browser is a client. Google Chrome or Mozilla or Firefox or whatever Opera, whatever that is. These browsers will call it as a clients. It is also software, right? It is also a software. Our resources can be accessed from the browsers. So we'll call these browsers as a client. Okay, it requests the resources from the database somewhere. It is requesting some resources from database. So we are entering some username and password and we are getting some mails from the database, right? So it is requesting some resources, and again it will be rendering in the form of HTML form only. Now, the client can understood only these things. It cannot understood the source code whichever we are giving. Okay, compulsory whatever the response that we are giving, it must be in the form of some client understood format only. Client understandable format. It can understand resource. Client resources can be of HTML, images, or JavaScript. Only this can understood. It cannot understood Java code. The browser. Okay, or client. Now, the duties of or responsibilities of web client means the browser. Okay, requesting server for connectivity. What is doing? I'm entering username. Okay, I'm entering username. One is joined. One second. Yeah. So I'm entering username and I'm hitting next submit button. So what it is doing? It is requesting to the server. It is hitting to the database. Okay, by giving this username and it is calling to the database. Okay, internally it is calling the server. Internally it is calling to the server. I'm expecting some details from you by passing this username. Okay, please search from your side and give me the response in the format which I can understood. Okay, now requesting server for connectivity. First it will check for connectivity. Next, receiving user input. Receiving user input from the web page. I have entered whatever the username that I have entered here, that it will pick that browser, okay, and forwarding it to the server, okay. Whatever the username that you are giving here, that the browser will capture the data and it will send the data to the server, okay. Server we have to install, guys. That I will show you that soon, okay. Now after that it will forward that request to the web server and receiving the HTML documents from web server. So server will process the request. Server will process the request, whatever that we are giving the user, right, the email. It will, by taking that email, yes, whether this email is available in the database or not. If it is available, yes, then it is available, and some response it will give back to here. Let's say um, I'm giving some here. Okay, just assume. Click, it is available in the database, then it will see. If it is not there, it is giving error. If it is available, then it is asking for the password. If it is not there, it won't ask, right? So in between, it is checking with the server and then it is giving some response back to the client. Then only it is proceeding further. Okay. Now, after receiving something, some documents from the web server, it will process and then it will render to the client. Okay. The client will understand only the HTML, image and JavaScript only, and it will execute those files and then it will display the page. We'll see some login page and then some examples soon. The examples of client is Internet Explorer, Opera, Google Chrome, Mozilla. All these are examples of web clients, or we'll call it as a client. Okay. Now coming to the server, web server. Okay. What is a server? It is a It is also a software. Okay. Normally by default we will not get the Chrome, right? Compulsory we need to install the Chrome, right? In the same way, server is also a software. Server is also a software. It is called HTTP server. It can understood of any request is coming from HTTP is there, right? See, HTTP, like these are any request that will get from the HTTP server. From the client, will get it and it will understood that it should accept the request from multiple clients. So the server, whatever the server that we have installed in our system, it can accept of multiple clients. You also can access, I also can access, any number of people can access that one. Okay, from the client. The server should accept any number of clients request, not only one, guys. Okay. Now, what is the duties of a server is providing connection to the web clients and then receiving a request from the client, means from the browser, and delivering the requested resources to them. So whatever they are expecting response from our side, so we are delivering. That is the responsibility of server. Okay, only server will not do, guys. We will deploy our code inside server. Server will process it. Okay, we have to write the code and then we have to deploy that code inside the server. Server will process it, whatever the code that we are writing. Okay. Now examples of web servers is Apache Tomcat is one web server, WebLogic, WebSphere. These are application server. For big applications, we can use of WebLogic or WebSphere. For small applications, we can give as a Apache Tomcat, or we'll call it as a web server, not application server. Okay, Tomcat is a web server, not application server. Application servers are WebLogic and WebSphere. Okay. Now WebLogic is of Oracle, guys. WebSphere is of IBM product. Okay. Now next, what is client and what is web client? Okay, web client and web server. It is also known as a user agent. To send request to the web server, a special software is required, which is nothing but the web client. So we are using of login name, username and password. Okay, simply that will not read the data, right? So directly what the server cannot read the data. So the browser will read the data and that will send the data to the server. Okay, it is the responsibility of client to capture the data which is entered by the user and send it to the server. Okay, server will receive the input from the client and it will process the data, and then it will respond back to the client in the form of HTML or JavaScript or some and UI understandable format only. It will return the response. Okay, let me show you one example. I will develop one application. We'll see that soon. It is a web client. Okay, by using web client we can communicate with server. Okay, now next, what is a web server? So once we deployed web application, okay, once whatever the application that we have deployed developed guys, once we deployed into the server, okay, we required to run the application. We have developed application. To run our application, the software is nothing but web server that we have to deploy inside web server. Web server provides environment to run the web application. Okay, so whatever the code that we have developed, that we need to will create as a war file or jar file, and that war file we will deploy into the server. Whenever any request is coming from the client, based on the input, it will process it. Okay, those are client and server. Client means browser, server means it is of like Tomcat, WebLogic, Web Server, WebSphere. All these are the servers. Okay, we will deploy our application inside that servers. Okay, now what is deployment and undeployment? Okay, deployment means the process of placing our web application inside web server will call it as a deployment. Okay, so whatever the code that we are developing, right, that we are keeping inside that code. Okay, directly project will not keep guys. So it will generate one war file. Okay, what is war means? Web archive. Web archive. So that war file we need to deploy inside. We need to keep inside the server. Server will unwrap it and then it will process the request. Okay, what is undeployment? The process of removing web application from the server is undeployment. Okay, this is nothing. And types of web applications. Now, informative web application is there, interactive web application. So informative web application means the content of the informative web application is always fixed. The content is static. There is no modification, no modifications, always it is a static one. Okay, now in this case, these type of applications, user will receive static content as a response from web server. Always there is no way to modify, delete, add resources in this case. Okay, now let's say go for mm, what is the static page I can say. Mm, Facebook. Okay, if anything, let's say this is the page, just assume, if always giving a same content. Okay, if always giving as let's say w3 schools, w3 schools, so how many number of times, let's say if you are giving this one, it will give a same content, right? So then I can say it is a static content. Okay, based on the clicking on some buttons, if it is doing up some actions means, then we can say it is a dynamic applications. Dynamic based on sign up, let's assume login, it is doing some action, it is giving login page. Let's close. If I'm giving click on sign up, then it is going for different page. If I sign up for fee, it is going to give different page. So it is based on the actions that I'm performing, it is doing of different actions. Then we can say it is a dynamic web applications. Okay, dynamic based on the user actions. If it is performing different actions, then we can say it is a dynamic web application, guys. Okay, so interactive or dynamic web applications, like Gmail, Facebook, or whatever that we are using, those are always it is a dynamic web applications based on our actions. It is doing some actions, right? Next, types of web pages. Static web pages and dynamic web pages. Just now I am telling static means always the content is fixed. Dynamic web pages means the content will modify based on our action. That will called as a dynamic web pages. Okay. Client side programming and server side programming. Client side programming means we need to write, the client side is the writer, so login page, all those things we have to develop by using of HTML, JavaScript and CSS. We can develop the client side programming. Client side, with those only can client can understand only those languages. HTML, right, hypertext markup language, it can understood of HTML, JavaScript and CSS. Okay, to understand anything that we are giving some data, so it can understood of, we need to send in the form of these client understandable form only. Now, server side programming, so what server can understood and then process the request. So server side programming can be implemented by using a, okay, Java, .NET, PHP, Perl. By using these technologies, by using these languages, we can develop the server side programming. Okay, next. Let's, so responsibility of server side programming is it should capture the user input and process the user input and interact with the database and then send that response back to the client in the form of HTML, JavaScript. This is always we are repeating. Okay, no issue. Let's start off. Till now we are discussed, right, those will call it as a J2SE. Okay, J2 Java Standard Edition. Now this is a J2EE. Okay, Java Enterprise Edition. Okay, till now core Java will call it as a J2SE. Now servlets and JSP, all the advanced technologies that will call it as a Enterprise Edition J2EE. Okay, servlets and JSP. What is servlets? What is JSP? JSP means Java Server Pages. Okay. Don't worry, guys. Servlets will not be using no one. Okay. But you should, people should understood what exactly servlet, how exactly initial days it is developed. Okay. Now, what is servlets? Now let's read it. Let me finish off only these things, guys. After that, we'll stop the class for today. Not for today, for now. And then again, we'll start on 11 o'clock, guys. 1 hour break I'm giving. And then 11 to 1, I will take again, guys. Okay. Servlets. Okay. Or else, I can start the servlet in the at 11 o'clock, guys. Is it okay? Guys, fine. We'll connect at 11 o'clock, guys. Yeah. Thank you.